All right. When I'm dealing with fractions, you can leave the fractions or you can not leave the fractions, especially if you're doing it graphically. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to multiply everything in here by 15 in order to get rid of the fractions to start. I'm going to say that if I have 15 times x squared divided by 3, I have 5x squared. If I have 15 times 2x divided by 5, I have 6x. And then I just have is less than 15. Move everything to one side, and I'm going to say that 5x squared plus 6x minus 15 is less than 0. And the equation that I'm actually graphing into my calculator is y is equal to 5x squared plus 6x minus 15. I'm going to have to change my window settings a little bit so I can see everything. Let's say that negative 10, positive 10, and 1, and negative 20, positive 10, and 1, so that I can actually see everything. And when I graph out my function, then I'm going to have the two intercepts. I'm going to have 1 is going to be at negative 2.433 and 0. I'm going to have 1 that is at 1.233 and 0. And because it's less than, I'm just looking for this region down here, which means that I'm going to state my solution is negative 2.433 is less than x, which is less than 1.233. All right, last one. If I'm using sign analysis to solve this one, I move everything to the left-hand side. Well, that's already done. Then I'm going to start factoring. So first, I'm going to pull out a common factor of x, and I have x squared minus 3x minus 10 is less than or equal to 0. Then I'm going to state that x and x plus 2 and x minus 5 are less than or equal to 0. For the x, my intercept is just going to be at 0. For plus 2, it's going to be at negative 2. And for minus 5, it's going to be at positive 5. Draw out my little chart. And I have actually 3 possibilities now, which means it's going to split up into 4 sections, unlike the 3 sections we've seen, because there's more factors. So I'm going to have one that is at negative 2, one that is at 0, one that is at 5. Then I'm going to list my factors on the left-hand side and say my factors are x plus 2, and our x minus 5. I'm going to pick a number to substitute in. Well, doesn't really matter. So if I want one that's less than negative 2, say I have negative 5. If I want one that's between negative 2 and 0, negative 1. If I want one between 0 and 5, I'll take positive 1. And if I want one bigger than 5, I'll do 10. If I replace these numbers in for the x's, then this would be negative, this would be negative, this would be positive, this would be positive. If I do the x plus 2, negative 5 plus 2 is going to be negative, negative 1 plus 2 is going to be positive, 1 plus 2 is positive, 10 plus 2 is positive. And in the last case, x minus 5, then this is negative, this is negative, this is negative, and this is positive. When I do the vertical multiplication, like we did when we first did this, then a negative and a negative are going to be negative, times the negative, or sorry, negative and a negative are going to be positive, times the negative is going to be negative. Negative, positive, and negative are going to multiply to make a positive. 2 positives will be positive, times the negative is negative, and 3 positives will be positive. I look back up at the top, and I'm going to say, oh, well, I want it for when it is less than 0. I want it for when it's negative. It's negative here, it's negative here. Then I need to just state, well, what is the solution regions in there? The solution regions are going to be when it's less than negative 2, or when it's between 0 and 5, 0 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 5. And there's my answer.